Welcome to VNews Broadcaster Daily. I am following today's headlines.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng welcomes the Singaporean president on a visit to Vietnam. 3 U.S. naval ships dock in Tin Sa Port for a visit to Da Nang City. The consumer price index in April increased only 0.05% from last month, the lowest monthly rise in 3 years.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng hosted a reception for Singaporean President Tony Tan Keng Yam on April 24th. The Singaporean president is in Vietnam for a visit from April 23rd.
The General Secretary thanked the Singaporean President for selecting Vietnam as the first country to visit after beginning his term of office, describing the visit as a vivid symbol of friendship, trust and cooperation between the two countries. He affirmed Vietnam's policy to attach importance to developing friendship and cooperation with Singapore. Vietnam will also coordinate with Singapore at multilateral forums, including ASEAN and the UN, for mutual benefits and for peace, stability and development in the region and the world. For his part, President Tony Tan Keng Yam stated Singapore's policy of enhancing cooperation with Vietnam and being ready to share experience with Vietnam in investment, trade, urban infrastructure, seaports and human resource training. He expressed his belief that Vietnam would continue to gain greater socio-economic development achievements to become an industrialized country by 2020.
During another reception for the Singaporean president on April 23rd, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng also affirms Vietnam's policy of cooperation with Singapore to further bilateral relations between the two countries.
Some said the visit of President Yam is an important milestone in the development of the friendship and multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. He said there is huge potential for closer cooperation and they should make more efforts to strengthen ties in every field, including implementing the Vietnam-Singapore Agreement on Economic Connectivity. In addition to trade and investment, Zum said that both countries can enhance ties in education and training, as well as security and national defence, support each other at regional and international forums, and keep close contact during the negotiations for the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. Meanwhile, the Singaporean president said his visit aims to further the multifaceted cooperation with Vietnam, especially in economics, trade, investment and education and training. President Yam confirmed that Singapore is keen on closer cooperation with Vietnam and other ASEAN countries to keep the East Sea peaceful and stable while ensuring maritime freedom and for disputes in the East Sea to be resolved by peaceful methods.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng received a delegation of the Communist Party of Cuba in Hanoi on April 23rd. The delegation was led by Victor Gaute Lopez, Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba Central Committee.
At the meeting, Lopez briefed the Vietnamese party leader on the results of the First National Conference of the Communist Party of Cuba and the political, economic, and social situation in Cuba. He expressed his admiration for Vietnam's development achievements gained during the renewal process, saying that such achievements would be valuable lessons for Cuba. Party leader Trọng said, "The party, state and people of Vietnam consistently support the fight for justice of the Cuban people and are ready to share its experience over the last 25 years of renewal with Cuba." He affirmed Vietnam's determination to enhance unity, friendship, mutual trust, and comprehensive cooperation between the two parties, two states, and two peoples. He congratulated Cuban Communist comrades over the success of the First National Party Conference earlier this year. He expressed his belief that with the sound policies and resolutions resulting from the conference, as well as the effort and leadership of the Communist Party of Cuba, the Cuban people will overcome all challenges and obstacles they meet in the drive to promote socialism.
3 U.S. naval ships, the USS Blue Ridge, the USS Chaffee, and the auxiliary vessel, the USNS Safeguard, has docked in Tin Sa Port for a visit to Da Nang City from April 23rd to 27th.
Vice Admiral Scott Swift, commander of the 7th Fleet, and members of the crew are scheduled to pay courtesy visits to Da Nang authorities, the Vietnam People's Navy, and the High Command of Naval Zone 3. During their stopover, the crew will share their knowledge and experience of navigation techniques with their Vietnamese counterparts. They will also play sports and have cultural exchanges with Vietnamese soldiers and local people, as well as conducting charitable activities in Da Nang City. As part of the visit, the two navies will hold their annual dialogue on issues of mutual concern.
Experts from 9 Asian countries, including Bangladesh, China, Egypt, Indonesia and Vietnam, have gathered at a workshop in Ho Chi Minh City to share experience controlling H5N1 avian influenza.
The three-day workshop opened on April the 23rd and was a joint effort of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Ministry of Public Health, and the U.S. Agency for International Development. During the event, participants will discuss improvements to measures to prevent the highly pathogenic influenza A H5N1 virus, in the context that bird flu outbreaks continue to occur in many countries. The bird flu epidemic among humans remains a threat for the region in the future, as a mutating type of H5N1 virus has appeared and spread from Southeast Asia to East and South Asia, they said. Over the past 10 years, over 300 million fowls in the world have been killed due to the highly pathogenic influenza. More than half of the 600 patients infected by bird flu have died. By March 2011, Vietnam reported 119 type A H5N1 cases among humans, including 59 fatalities. The figures accounted for 23% of the total cases and 19% of the total fatalities in the world.
The General Statistics Office (GSO) announced on April 23 that the country's Consumer Price Index (CPI) in April increased only 0.05%. This is the lowest rise in 3 years and the smallest April rise during the past 8 years.
The low increase was attributed to sharp declines in prices of food and foodstuff, which accounted for 40% of the goods basket. Prices of restaurants and catering services were down 0.8%, of which prices of grains decreased 1.69% and foodstuff dropped 0.87% over March. Rice prices fell sharply thanks to abundant supplies, as Mekong Delta provinces reaped a bumper autumn-winter crop. Prices of essential foodstuff continued to decrease due to economic difficulties and abundant supplies. Pork prices decreased 3.57% and vegetables 1.49% over last month. The prices of housing and construction materials decreased 0.44%. Gas price also went down 4.43% as the price in the world market dropped by $212.5 per ton in March. Also in April, gold prices decreased 2.62% and the price of the US dollar fell 0.07% compared over last month.
On April 23rd, the Nokia Corporation began the construction of a factory to manufacture mobile phones in the northern province of Bắc Ninh.
The facility, the first of its kind in Southeast Asia, reaffirms Nokia's long-term commitment to Vietnam as well as its strategy in the region. The factory, with an initial investment of 200 million euros, almost $300 million, is built on a 17-hectare site in the Vietnam-Singapore Industrial Park in Bắc Ninh Province. It is expected to go into operation in early 2013, with an annual output of 180,000 units and generate jobs for almost 10,000 workers. Vice Chairwoman of the National Assembly Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân said she expects the factory will create positive impacts on socio-economic development, not only in Bắc Ninh Province but also throughout the country. Nokia first entered Vietnam in 1996 and currently has 2 representative offices in Vietnam, one in Ho Chi Minh City and the other in Hanoi.
And that comes to the end of the news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.